Folks, it's Sunday night, July the 23rd, Sunday, July 23rd, 2023. This is the fourth in a series of videos, and I'm kind of hoping to do them in 30-minute time frames. It seems that I get cut off anyways, and maybe it's good, and then I can just continue where I leave off. So, as you guys know, I'm working on this channel and I wanted to talk a little bit about mentors. Andrew Connell, he looks like a very good mentor. He's got a 1 hour video, and this guy is excellent. I'm telling you, he's only got 358 views in the last 2 months on this thing. So he's a leader in the field, and he's really the type of guy we want to be following. So if you look here, I'm just going to go and just buzz around here really quick, and I've got it set for English here. And so you should be able to get all the subtitles, and it says I'm in Italy, but that's not really true. I'm more like, Switzerland. So we'll just try to buzz down here. The reason he's saying Italy, and I know why, I'm not going to worry about that, is because he's thinking about my VPN. I've got a few watch laters there, right? And what I did is I made some playlists up. Let's see if I can go to my library here. It's all, I'm just getting used to this stuff and how to maneuver around. Like I made a clip up, I think, and there was this guy here. He's another good leader. I like him. He was with Tom Bill, Tom, and this is Axel Axe, I guess. So maybe something worth watching. And he talks about dark love. So you young men out there and women, these are guys worth watching. So I've got some of my own favorites there, and we can show a little bit more. Like I said, I put some playlists together. So there's some reference info. And if you go to my channel, I think up here, it's really hard to maneuver around here. I don't know what I'm doing. Your channel there, right? And then there's the videos, right, that we did. There's the 3 there so far. I'm going to load them up as podcasts. These are the playlists that I was talking about. Stuff. I've got some private ones, and I'm collecting the music and stuff too. So, and I'm the SAP specialist. I go by William Tell, and you guys got to figure out who that is, of course. And we're trying to build a community here. So this is kind of where we left off. I loaded that just up now, and that was on the 21st, a couple days ago. So it'd be nice if some guys could put some comments in here and subscribe to my channel. So that's enough for now. What I'm trying to do is help you guys find your way through all the internet. There's a lot of people out there that I wouldn't trust, that they sound like you should trust. Trust the guys at the GitHub, okay? And this is a good article I found. It's from actually 2019, but I think he just changed the title. But it's how to build a web app, and it's really, really good. And I don't know this guy particularly, but he's talking about a lot of the stuff that I talk about in this slow code versus low code. I don't know about slow code, but we're going to be using all sorts of code. And you know that we need to do C#. So we'll be looking, you guys look on your own on that article, right? And maybe I can put the links in for you. For example, I can just, let's say, highlight that. And I just show you how I do things, right? You see there's a copy here, and I don't know why it's like that. Anyways, you could probably like share or sign up for free, and there's that little hamburger there, and you log in, and maybe things work better. So this was our OneNote. We've got this is take 4, I guess, and I've kind of prepared it a little bit for us, so it's maybe a little bit easier to read in the immersive reader now, I hope. And we can, but I'm not sure if the links are working. We can try that, but it's not really working for us. And anyways, what we did last time is we did the Visual Studio Community. You should have that installed there. This is kind of a blank page. You should have your GitHub set up. You want to have your own copy of the framework of the CAF. Now, what I have done here is I'm just going to right click on that. Nothing's happening from that frame, as you notice. There's some alerts down there. Don't worry about them. And you can see there's the master one there, and that's the one I downloaded, and I made this one here. You'll notice that it's sometimes a little bit hard to click around. So I'm going to pin it. Not that it matters. There's only 2 there, but you could have hundreds of these things. And I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to view the history of it and just see. And it kind of what it's doing there is it's telling the history of this branch that I made. Let me just go back there because it's very important that you understand what's going on here. I could make a new branch here, okay, and just give it a name. And let's just, again, remember the naming convention, and we've got that going. And I could just create it and type it in, and you can see, and it's based on that branch. And there's a lot of flexibility here. Again, I don't want to teach you guys everything there is to know, and I can't because my time's always running out. So I've got to move along. Let's go back to where we were over here looking at the GitHub. That was kind of next. And I think that's down here. So let's just drag that kind of up there, and it doesn't seem to drag for me. It's a drag. So anyways, this was the cloud framework for Microsoft. Okay. And you don't want to be here anymore. You don't need to be here anymore, but this is your reference. This is our reference, and you can see what's going on there. So keep tabs on that. Again, these guys are your heroes and mentors. So these are guys who are on your team. You got to get on this team. This is the most important team to be on in the community. And I've already mentioned that. So make sure you star it, right? Okay. So you come in here, you're good. And I just want to talk a little bit about the forks there, right? So it already knows that I have an existing fork. So I can't like really fork again off this because I'm already forked, it doesn't make any sense. So when I clicked on that, he says you're already forked, and here it is, right? So there's a lot of stuff I can do here. For example, I could have a wiki page, and I could create my first page if we wanted to, right? And then we could, come in here and, you could have a, intro, right? Intro for the, and we'll call it the skim, or something like that. Remember, I don't like capital letters, right? So maybe that's not a good idea. Then that means I never did this, and I'm just going to put an intro, and we'll just, give it my little name again, right? Why not? Remember, I was saying that it doesn't hurt because it's so short. So, and it makes it unique, right? And then, of course, now we can do, V1 there, just like we did everything else. And, welcome to the Cloud Adoption Framework. And we'll just, pop that down in here. Welcome to and then we'll put it right in there, Cloud Adoption Wiki, right? Okay, and that was our initial entry, and that's going to be logged, and it's a markdown, and we can preview it, and that's what it kind of looks like, because you see now it doesn't care about those. So, and this is a good thing to learn, okay, guys? So if you go like this is going to be heading 2, and that's heading 3, and that's going to be heading 1, right? So now if we go back to the preview page, you can see, and that's called Markdown. So there's something you learned today already. Now let's go, oh, look, cancel that, you know? So we got to scroll around here and initial home page, edit. No, I like it. But you know what? Again, it's got the stuff in there, right? So let's just, get it out of there, right? There's a lot of stuff I want to teach you guys. So let's just keep going back to where we were. And that was basically over looking here, okay, at the GitHub. And we're just not going to be making that extra branch now. We're just going to work with this one. And if we didn't like the name, then we could rename it. And we can review the history there. And like I say, this is the branch we're on right now. We just hover over it, and I already dated it up. So all the stuff, like I say, takes a little bit of time to get organized. So that's really important. So let's go over here, and you see, and then I got here the history one. So I'm just going to close them all down again, right? And you can see I've got the side panel still here, and there's no changes on this. It's 0 changes. And I could maybe even do a sync or something, and let's say, warning, see that, and he says always ignore pushing. And let's see if that caused any changes, because I didn't have any changes. And I could go to the Git just through here again, right? So I was over here in the Git, and we're going to save this page now, okay? So this was that one, and that's the wiki. But let's understand something here. This is the wiki page here that would have its own, kind of link, and you could share that. This is the code page over here. So I'd be really surprised if, there's something going on our master branch here, right? And like I said, the people can come in here and start, getting involved. And we don't want to get too heavy on this today, but we need to, because one of the problems we had from our last um, scene It was the problem, and let's get to it right now. Again, you could do a new project. We want to go to open a project solution or a folder, right? Or we could have gone to the recent ones and pull it up there. I had a bitmap that I wanted to show you that I'm very proud of, and you got to see right now, folks. So this is, I mentioned this, it was covered over, I think, a little bit by the audio last time, the music. So that's some of my favorite music. But this is, thank you very much. My high school teacher couldn't explain it better. So now I can finally finish my first ever computer project. And I tell you, that sort of stuff breaks my heart, folks. That's what it's all about. And I love to see more of those things. Now, let's come down here, and because I'm always trying to teach you guys and lead by example here and really do my best. So I've got a OneDrive here, and I've got some of these guys pinned here on the repos, right? So this is typically where you'd be. You'd have a pinned, and then we go a kennel, and that's it there. That's the one we're working on. And I hope you guys can see this. I'll make it a little bit bigger now. And you know how it works here. So you want to go into this ready folder. And what that ready folder means is that it's the CAF, the Cloud Adoption Framework, is ready there. And these are other pieces to the puzzle. They've got scenarios and examples. And if you go to the ready, it's really nice how they did it. They've got a whole bunch of these documents. They got the README to go with it. And then they've got this blueprints and landing zones. And this is for a government type landing zone. And this is for a Terraform landing zone. So that's probably the one we're going to take, and we're not going to do the other blueprints. Be careful with those. If you do a migration landing zone and you import that thing, you might be in trouble. Because it locks down your security really hard, and we don't have a lot of security going. So we're going to go to this folder here, and this is quite common to come through the folders and find this file, the solution, the Visual Studio solution. Okay, it's not the Visual Code solution. That might be, down here somewhere else, down here in the Azure naming tool, and it's called a CS proj. Azure called an SLN. And so you just have to double click on it. But because we already had this other guy open here, right? It opens up another set, huh? So we don't need him anymore, and we're just going to close that window. And you see, we could have picked it that way too if we had, pinned it on our thing. But I'm trying to keep everything to a minimum. It's really tough, guys. It's really tough doing this and getting it all right the first time. So let's not overload you guys too much right now. Let's try to move forward. You can see now I don't have any changes here at all, right? But you know what? I really like that comment. And what I want to do is I just want to give you an example. Last time we were trying to do the publish. So let's get on with that. And maybe that leads to something nice. Let's maximize here. And so last time it created what they call a YAML, a published XML file. So we really couldn't get out of, this XML thing yet, and it's not over with. We're still dealing with that, and we could try a publish here, or we could do a new. And as you see, I came back and it was 11:11, and now it's, a couple days later, same place, same time, and we can look at the output logs possibly, and I click on them, and nothing's really coming out here for me. There's the build, and maybe I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not going to go through all that nonsense. I'm just going to go new again here, okay? Because what I'm doing by a new is I'm basically maybe the configuration was wrong, so I'm initiating the wizard again, and then I can reselect the stuff. So there's a quick review, always pick Azure, right? And then you go next. So you're just kind of trying to push your way through these things. And of course, you want a Windows one, an app service for Windows. You can have all the different types, and it's up to you guys. But I always go for the defaults as much as possible, especially on the initial first run. Now, because we are doing this again and we had some success there, as you guys well know from last time, it's not so bad. That we've got some stuff coming up now, and the last time we probably didn't. So I'm just opening up all the folders, and there's no deployment slots. You've seen it pop up and then go away there. And this is the guy we made. He's by our naming convention. And you'll see down here, he says deploy as zip package. So I hope everybody's paying attention here, because that zip package is basically something like this whole thing zipped up, and it's going to sort of push that in. That's this is what it's going to deploy, is this package of the app that we're making, and it's buried in this whole stuff here. And it's a very serious package, and you guys got to know it upside down and backwards. Every single one of these folders you must learn. And you're going to start with that properties folder, and don't change a lot. Change one thing at a time and then unchange it, and you'll get your changes down here. Now I can't see that stuff right now because of what I'm doing. I'd have to close down, go there. So you just go through with your stuff and then go back and check your changes there, and then you can delete them if you don't like and just start right scratch. It's just a beautiful system. So we're going to deploy with a zip package. We're going to go next. Now we're back to the API management, and he's loading in what he sees because I'm signed in there, right? In the Microsoft account. That's my Azure account. So, and we can look at that and we can see these things in the portal, but this is much better to see it this way. This is where you want to be when you publish. Right off. Remember, we right click there and we got here to the publish. So then I can cut out of this at any time. But let's keep going. All right, guys. We want to put this API tool in. I want to explain just a little bit what's going on here. If we just fold that up, okay, and fold that up. Now, this is a folder that he's kind of made for us, part of the API management CAF. And if we open it up, it's really the folder, which is the resource group that we made. And because the names are so nice and short, it's quite identifiable. And then this is the actual APIM, and it's for the AZ tool. And that might not have been the best thing. We should have maybe just called it APIM and then the demos or something. I think that was better. But like I say, we can rename everything much later. Not today. We're running out of time. So let's keep going. Now, what this is, if you didn't include it when you created it, I wanted to include it in, okay? And it's included in right now because we're kind of doing it new again. And you would have to create a whole new thing, and we'd have to go through that. So, I'm not going to skip the step, and I could. Um, but what I want to just show you is that I want that API to be installed on the APIM. If you didn't install it, you would have automatically, you could have by default got the echo. And I would actually recommend, set up a separate APIM and a separate one for this. You can separate them and isolate them that way. So for billing purposes, because the APM, the API management does cost money. So let's go next. And now this is a very hard thing to figure out, but it's kind of obvious, because if you read the documentation, we want to use the GitHub Actions, okay? This is for our continuous improvement, continuous development that we're going to be doing on this application that's going to be managed and saved. Our source codes are going to be managed globally in a public, okay, because we don't have a private one, but it's going to be a public repository that other people can follow. And hopefully we have time to take more look at the GitHub today. So I'm just going to go finish here, and he's creating a profile now, and you could check that automatically close when succeeded, but I think we're going to fail here like we always do. And that's quite normal. So he was trying to do an AZ command. And that's the command he was trying to do. And it's not a bad idea to, this is again, this is excellent for your DevOps. So let's go back to the OneNote and just catch up to where we're supposed to be. Like I said, we're going to be looking at, the Azure groups. We're going to be looking at how much I've been spending, and my next invoice, and you can download them, and you got to get used to this stuff. So I've got these two, and this is the one we're using, right? And what else do we have here? This is what the whole goal of it is, right? I'm working from the Azure site on skim synchronization. Skim, learn Microsoft Azure. So I'm going to be teaching a little bit how to learn, because I'm learning, and I hope you guys are following along here. And I got this far. Add skim validator, get started. There was some, he wanted endpoints here and tokens and things. So that's going to be, our next stop. And, there's some skim reference code. and that was where I got it from, right? And this is me again. And they've got their wiki here, and this is really what I need to go through. And I'm moving along pretty good. I'm helping you guys out, you're helping me out, and we're having fun, I hope. So it's the whole idea. So if you guys aren't having fun, then go to the Vision Studio and get that going, okay? So there's all these different features and apps that you can install already, and you can try it out because you've got an account in the portal, and use your naming convention, practice with it, and then you just destroy the stuff that you don't like. And they got the spatial analysis, and that's pretty funky. People are going to want to know how close the guy who's been vaxxed and how close the guy who's not been vaxxed. And we're going to separate society into these two types, right? I'm a little bit worried about some of this stuff, to be personal. Like, they literally got the distance meter. So yeah, this is why we need to be here, folks. And the first thing is going to get your identity manager going, and that's what we're doing in this course. So it's really how to build a house, 35 steps. And this guy, he is a builder, okay? Soltis. So he's another mentor you want to watch, and he's got some speaking engagements. I don't know exactly what's going on here. I'm a one-man show. So I got to do my tutorials myself, and there's some tools and templates, and go through these sites, read these articles, put them in your favorites, get your groups going, and follow along in what I'm doing. Today, we're going to have to probably get the CLI. I mentioned it before. It's most likely we're going to have to get it installed. So let's go back. And you can see here, I'm looking at this guy again, and now he's opening up another one of these down here. And then I've already got this one here. So I don't really need this one. But what I could do is I could pin him again, right? And now he's down here, and I can bring him up there. Now I got a kind of a duplicate, right? So I've got the edit version, and I've got this version. Look at this. You can play it even. Okay, well, we're not playing it tonight. We're working tonight. We're going to get everything installed. I think you guys know what my objective is. My tool is basically the browser, and I'm going to have everything in the YouTube, and we're going to stick with this OneNote format. I think it's good tool. I used to just be, this kind of thing where I would put checkered flags and use this, and this is my 80K emojo thing, and there's no transgenders where I come from. We don't have that flag, and it looks too much like the white flag. Okay, so we're just going to delete that. And rainbow flag, well, I'm a little bit worried about that one too, so we're going to get rid of that. We got a black, a cross, triangle, and that looks good. So there's already a naming convention, right, guys? So I just want to teach you guys, all about, you know, um, names and making them kind of shorter, right? So, like, for example, I like that checked, right? But he's got the D on the end, so I'm just going to put an apostrophe there. You're going to do things like that, right? So this is try, ang. I like the ang part, I'll be honest with you. So I'm just going to just cut that off at that part. And you see how we got them kind of the same length. And then somebody's going to go try ang or training, right? So maybe we're just going to go try, and then we'll put the ang there. Okay, it's a little bit longer, and this one's crossed, right? But what I want to do with this one is I'm going to make this kind of an X and a capital X, okay? And then I'm sort of, flagged, okay, like done. And so, you know what I mean? This is cross, or that could be actually, warning, or cross, let's just say cross apps, right? Big one, right? So maybe just like that, X apps sticks out a lot, right? But we're doing this thing here, apostrophe. So let's continue with that because I like that for verbs, okay? That one will leave us black, white, and pirate. Pirate, that's going to be special for us, of course, and we've got our stuff. So you guys probably think I'm crazy, and I think I go crazy. I'm crazy about this stuff. That's the problem. I love it so much. So at this point, you guys should have your Visual Studio Community free version installed. You should have a GitHub account. and you should have cloned this one to your own. And you can see how it looks on mine, a cloned version. And I can show you how to clone them. And if you can't figure it out, put something in the comments. So what we did is we cloned the CAF with Visual Studio, not Visual Code. And these are a little bit unique videos we're doing here today because we're showing everything with Visual Studio. Most of the stuff out there is going to be done with Visual Code. And Visual Code you must figure out yourself and get that going. I really don't have the time for it right now, but it works and it's not bad. But this is the Cadillac way of doing things. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys. So if we see like a mistake there, you see the little dash secret OAuth. This is what I'm trying to accomplish tonight and get that secret. That's actually what the error is all about. The stuff is running and it's working already. So if you got this far here and you actually did publish it, that's what we were doing when I just stopped there. So let's just go back here. We got that error. We're going to copy it. I'm just going to toggle back over here and I'm going to go into the edit, right? So I noticed that the other views were a little bit not right. And I found out a little bit about using this tool, how well it works. So again, a little bit of a quick review. If you haven't seen my videos before, start with the first one and then go number 2 and 3, and then you'll get to this point, and there's a little bit review. But Brian Soltis says that he did a deep dive on the naming tool. That's what we're doing. We're installing it. We've got it public already, and we just have to get our GitHub actions working. Once we get all this working one time, and this is supposed to be the wrap up thing, I hope we get wrapped up today and we get this done in 30 minutes. Otherwise, I'll have to come back and finish it. But I'm covering everything that you need to know. And you'll notice I got a next steps here, and it says when pubbing the below errors occurred. Well, we've got the below errors now, right? So let's just go below errors, below errors. Okay. And we're just going to pop that in there. And that was the stuff. And remember, I talked about a timestamp. Okay, so let's say this is the second one, and we'll just do warning maybe there. And this is actually part of the problem. Actually, it's still really the problem. So I'm just going to sort of take this as a format so I don't have, that's the current situation, but we're now right on the action situation. And so I'm just going to kind of pop that in there. And this is the, current errors, right? So let's just, that was the initial one. And this is log number 2. Okay. And this is actually kind of the second log, right? I always like that stuff. And this is attempt and this is Sunday night. So I'm really, doing a really good job here. I don't know what you guys think, but I've already got a warning here. It's actually a success, right? And I'm not going to change formats and worry about that. Just maybe space it out properly because the size of things. And this was the command that didn't work. And I want to show you something here. This is really just sweet. And we could use that. We could try it and maybe it'll work for us as one way to do it. There's many, many ways to do what we're doing here. And the problem is you're going to say, please run the AS login to set up account. That's the problem. And maybe you guys ran into that yourselves. And then it says the success here secret. What's it saying here? Successfully set in repository. So look at this. This is funny. He's put something in there. This guy is so cool. These guys at the GitHub are really nice. And that's all from that kind of repository, but it's from the A-Kennel one. That's my repository, right? So you can thank me for that, guys, for teaching you this because I'm learning this myself as we're going. I just know it can be done. I'm just confident in my abilities to do things. So why not? Look here. He put in here in Angel Sources repo, right? That's the A kennel repo for my GitHub, which is that name. And in the .github kind of thing, there's workflows, and he's created that YAML. So now we've got a YAML to basically set up that app. And I don't know if that's the best name. That's what I did. I said it's the app server, but it should be like probably the tool. So that was the initial. We did that then, and then we're back here, and I guess it's now like we're right back at 11:09, and that's going to be pretty confusing. So let's just say 11 p.m. It doesn't really matter. That's us, 11 p.m. And I think we're kind of finished here. It's the second log. We're not too bad. and we're trying to get this guy going. So what I'm going to do is just copy that. Like I said, it's already in the buffer. We know about holding down the smart key and, getting that sort of stuff done. So let's just close this for now. Okay. And you see that secret is set, but it's not. And that's the SPN again. So let's try to set the secret now. Maybe he lets it do it this way. Like I said, there's many different ways. And that is really what this is very funny. That's the SPN that he's creating. And if you remember, we talked about a service principal name. Okay, so let's generate the secret. Why not? It'll probably fail. Visual Studio could not set secret. Try alternative. Why not? Just keep pushing through. And then he's right back here saying, try that again. So we just copy that again for the, third time. And then he says, but just put it in here and then it's good for GitHub. So let's see if we can actually do this. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to close it. And now, of course, the CLI needs to be installed. I'm going to open up the terminal and I'm in a PowerShell, right? So if you don't have this installed, put in the comments and maybe I'll put it in there for you, but I'm just going to paste it there. And you can see this is the command, and then these are all the parameters, and we don't run out of time again. So I'm just going to do that. But this is setting up the role and everything. And what do you say? Please do the login first. So let's do that first. So AZ login, and let's see what happens. Like that should work, and it looks like it's working. So yeah, it is. This is really good, nice and slick. You've logged in, right? So just go back over here now, and he's pumping stuff out. Okay, and he's like, what is it saying here? Logged in, and what he's doing here, and we're not going to get too much into it, but I have a default directory and stuff, and it doesn't really matter because remember I told you that sweetness that they did for us. This is all lines it up. Doesn't really matter where you are, it'll do it. Or should. Let's see what happens. I don't know. And as an option has been deprecated and will be removed. So it's not up to date. So in our notes, we should take that out. And then, but like we want to take this whole thing because this looks pretty damn successful. And I'm looking for a key or something here. There's the secret right there. Okay. This is awesome, guys. I don't know. Like that's what gets me excited. And if you're not excited about this stuff, then you're probably in the wrong business because we just had a dopamine rush and it went really well. And I think we made it to the end of this. You see, 11:11. Look at this. Talk about like it's like we're almost synced here. I'm trying to put this in our notes here. This was the next steps, and the next steps is check everything, and we're running out of time here. Got to go for lunch. The boys want to go, and the girls want to go, and I don't blame them. So that's this is a check. Next steps. Well, that's the next step. So current situation is what you want. Is success. We got the key now, right? Key made. So that was really good, and I think we're going to be out of time. So we're going to put so the next steps is check everything and install key, right? Install the API key, let's call it, okay, for AZ tool. We'll call it the A kennel one, all right, for now. So we did really well. We did really, really well there. And we covered a lot of stuff. So you guys are going to have to go through all of that. And I'm probably going to get cut off. And I can keep going with these things, but I think it's enough overload for today. If you can get to this point where you're green, and then you're really good. Then you're really, really good. And we're on the next steps. But like I said, go back to your tools, check out some of this stuff. We're in the cloud framework here, right? That's that file there that we're looking at. So I could actually just close these things down now or unpin them. And I'm just going to close them. And they were really kind of good to have. And I could have actually like added it to a group or something. This is just a little sidebar here for you. So why don't we put in the sidebar? Well, we already have it in the sidebar. And I'm in this browser with this thing up here with all these different ones, okay? But I'm pulling into this browser here. That was take 4. Let's just open it up. I'm going to close this sidebar down because he's opening up. And let's just make sure he's got those updates that we made. And you can see, you know, let's just see because I've never tried this out. There it is. There it is. Yeah, it's pretty hard to do all this on the fly like I do, and it's probably like I say, brain overload. So we're gonna have to do one more video. We're gonna have to continue this series, but the truth is, what we've got here is we've got the GitHub actions that we got to do next, okay? And we just got our secret there, okay? That was, I don't know if you've seen it there, but you can play it back. You'll see it. And we're going to get our GitHub action. So we're going to be basically pumping, making the change to the Git. And if we just go over here there, because I think we're pretty successful, why don't we just take that guy right there, okay? Because we were, finishing off. I always want to review a little bit where we're at. And then I'm just right clicking, it vanishes there. So if I go on that, control V, it's right there, right? And that's not the control V, that's the smart V, let's call it. But you see there's these changes here, 5 of them. And you see things are overlapping a little bit. He's got all this stuff here, and let's close that down. It's a properties window. And I'm in the Git cloud framework. This is that branch that we're working on. I could move this up, and it's probably not a bad idea. So, and what I want to do is I just want to go something like that, and maybe I just go, this is the Git key, Git key for now, and I put it in somewhere, right? So why don't we make a folder up? Let's go back to the Solution Explorer down here on that tab, and we're going to go. So basically, we've got now that file there, and we've got here this guy, right? So let's just go on him and see if we want to delete anything before we sort of do this. So I'm always, I'll view the history. And as you see, there's nothing been pushed or whatever. And it's like, well, what are our actual changes? So we come here to this one. There's 7 of them, and you see them all here now. So even if I open this up, it doesn't improve the fonts. So if we just kind of close these up, and that's what I normally do, is you see where that was in the ready folder, right? And it was the properties, and there's our API key name of the file and the folder itself too. And then there was some service dependencies, right? This is that ARM JSON stuff that we talked about before that gets created while we're doing that new, deployment stuff. So we're going to go with it. Everything is looking good. But what we didn't do is we didn't go back and put the key in, right? So if you remember, we were kind of in the publish mode there before, and I think it's right here. So we're going to set that secret now, and I've got the secret, and I put it in this folder and inside this file here. But I did a little secret, I know what it is. I don't know if you guys know what it is, but I do. So just for the sake of the video, it's really tough to do a videos and put secrets in. And then, I want to continue to use it without having to do this every single time. And maybe we do it again, because this is not the end of the series. This is just the beginning. What's important here is you have the service principal, the secret for the service principal. And if you'll notice, it has published the profile secret. And you remember it had this AF7A. Well, that's not the secret, because you can see that here visually on the screen. It's just an identifier for the application. And this name there that's checked, this is good. It's got the warning on it. So let's go back here and fix this problem now. So I'm going to try here. I could copy that. And what is that? That's the AKD. And it's all underscores there. And then the last underscore with capital letters. So maybe that's a good naming convention. If you're going to use capitals and you don't use the dash, you use underscore. But what's nice here is we notice that it's all capital. So it's not something we're creating. He's telling us that the GitHub repository. So we're going to generate it. And then, but we already generated it, right? So let's see what happens now, because maybe he knows more because it might have put it all in there. So you see that? It all works successfully. So we don't need to generate another one. Don't do that, okay? It's going to wipe out what we already put in. So I'm going to say done there, right? And there he goes. So again, another very successful demo so far, but he's still working. He's getting a status. And what we want to do next, you'd want to take a screenshot of this stuff for your boss, right? And show him, all that juicy information and what's going on there. But the most impressive thing is you've already got here the actual site. And this is, the API management part of it. It's connected. There's an SQL behind it with a name. It's got a connection string to go with it. Let's just see what that's all about. Connect, open an SQL object explorer. I want to try that because I've never done it before. And I don't know what happened. Did something happen here? Oh, look, something's happening here. This is pretty cool. This is what I was saying. I'm always getting surprised at how well this thing works. So there's the local database, project models, and there's the another local database, but that's the models and that's the SQL. Again, I don't know how this works. This is an SQL server, but you can just imagine how it works. He's got databases and he's got security and server objects. And then we got a project down here, but there's nothing in that project. But boys and girls, we got endpoints here. Let's just try to open that up, see what happens. You know, it's running locally here, right? But you get the idea that this is probably public. So let's go there now, get the excitement over with. And here we are on my app. Now, I'm trying to do the font a little bit bigger, but you see it there, and that's the web Azure net. So we can copy that, right? And we could open up another browser over here. I always like doing duplicates work, and then he's like, switch to this tab, naming tool or whatever. I don't know, whatever. So here we are. We're live. This is worldwide. You guys don't know the password because I said it, already. Because I already logged in with this already because it was already working. And he seems to have memorized this whole thing. So what we want to do is we want to go to the admin log first, actually, okay? And you'll see that there's only one log, and that was the log when I basically logged in and set the password, I guess. So you could export that or you could purge it. And you know what? It's the 11:32. Let's purge the admin log, and it's okay now. So do you remember I was talking about I didn't want to reset the API keys and stuff, but I can do it now. And this is the API key that's there, or that we could save it, but we could generate a new one. And he says, this will generate a new API key. Are you sure? Yeah, okay. And it gave a 5A, not a bad one. I like that. 5A50, not bad. So I'll probably generate another one while you guys aren't looking, you know what I mean? And then you wouldn't see it. But you see the problem again about doing all this stuff? Like, I don't really care. Continue on, client principal name. And you shouldn't care either in your GitHubs, and depending on what you're doing. Now we're going to try to finish up today. See how far we get. I want to push this stuff up to the GitHub so you see it there. And then it's really like a power pack stuff. We got a lot of things we did today. And I want to make sure you guys review it and review everything we did there. Update your Jira notes, okay? So can we copy this stuff? Not really. We're going to need one of these recommended, the database. We just really need this. This is all in. It's all here, folks. What's this Azure naming thing? I come here, that's that. And where I wanted to go, this is my cloud. Remember I talked about this academy. So this guy does an excellent job about what I'm supposed to be explaining here. And, we've kind of done it this way here and the configurations. We didn't do the Docker file, and he might be doing a Docker file with you. So you've seen the way I did it, and we published it. And ours basically looks the same. And you got to configure it for yourself. And maybe we do that in another video. And I'm going to post it here, and try to tune my channel up. And like I say, try to give me some comments. And I would say, this triangle one isn't really good. And I like the ang, but I'm going to go with that part because it's too confusing, right? And then this cross apps, you know, these are capital letters, so it's not bad. We could make that small letters because it's kind of our style. And then there's all, a little bit of that. So keep memorizing and keep working and keep trying to figure out what the pirate is, okay? And who's the pirate. And if you do, I'm going to put some prizes. I've got some stuff I'm going to probably take pictures of and put prizes and stuff out there for you guys. Maybe a prize with every video. But like I say, I'm always running out of time. there's never enough time for having all the fun that I want to have. Maybe I do a short subscription and get the library going. But make sure you watch this Andrew Connell guy. He's going to teach you a lot, that stuff that I just don't have the time to go through. Again, there's only 359 views there 2 months ago. Try to share this with your best friends. And where are we? We're still back here, just not getting anything ever done. And you notice that? I think these got to be 1 hour sessions. They're so power packed. And so much is going on. So we've got some sort of key thing going on here, and we're just going to say these are the initial, and what is it? It's this guy up here, but I don't need to repeat him again. So they'll just say initial, you know, um, publication or, publish. And this was actually what we did there is we did publish it, and we're going to publish it. We haven't published it yet, but no, it is published, right? It's published. And we also got the API key, with API key, right? And this stuff is just, whatever. Don't get too with API key and folder, right? And as part of demo, right? As take. I think this is probably. And guys, here's how I'm doing it on the champ. I'm doing like this is take 3 or whatever here, so I could just maybe take that right there. And, I'm just trying to tie it together and just do something for us. So let's say take 3, a CAF Azure actions. Okay. So that's what we're going to call it. And what else do I got to do? Commit all. That's it. Okay. It's so easy. All and push. Commit all and sync. Stash all, stash all. We could just do the commit all. And we could also do the commit all and sync, and that is a really good idea because what it does, he's going to save and commit, okay, and then he's going to be saving everything. And don't ask me about these projects; just save and commit. So, and like I said, I'm not the expert. There's guys teaching all this stuff, but I want to teach it to you according to what I'm doing. And then he says successfully synchronized, right? So you can see we're back at 0 again, right? And we've still got the branch going. It didn't kill the branch, and we're working with that branch. So let's go back to the master. Sorry. Just click on that, and then we'll just, go on the view history, and let's take a look at that. So let's see if we see something there. And I'm not, maybe there's no commits to it to push it in. And like I say, but we're just seeing the master here now. And I'm not really seeing my stuff, and maybe we do a little refresh because these things can take time. Don't expect it to be there necessarily instantly. Let's go to the Solution Explorer, and we see everything there. And this is sometimes if people get a little bit excited, and like, oh, I don't see it. Just relax. This thing works perfectly every time. So as you see, there we are, 1137, perfectly every time. I merged in there from Jose's last one, and that's a really good thing for us to do, is to pull in the repository and make some changes to immediately. And what I normally like I do is I would actually be going on like the README files or something. And this one here, for example, and I have this extension set up, right? So, it's actually this isn't right anymore. It's not anymore that, So let's just maybe close some of the stuff down. I'm running out of room. I'm running out of time. Let's just keep going here and keep doing stuff so we can do another one just like what we did. So I'm going to come into here now in my, extension thing, and I see the naming tool there, and I'm going to call it, what am I going to call it? The Smart V is going to give me the pirate. Okay. The pirate Azure naming tool. I hope you guys got that one. And that's really good. So that caused one change. So, and there it is, and we know what it is, and we could get rid of it. We could undo the change, right? So we undo it, and you say yes, undo it. And he says, some Unicode characters of the file could not be saved in the current code page. So maybe this doesn't even work. Save with other encoding, and then current setting, and he's got a few here. So let's do this one here with the, but maybe it's this one here. And what it is I think it's this is so cool. These guys are just so good. What he's doing is he's kind of telling us that we could actually do this in a README file type of code page. So it's still the README file, but the encoding is going to be different on it, right? And this isn't necessarily something you want to muck with, but let's go with this signature type here, and they've got a 1200. And because they're, UTF, Unicode big endian, and wow, they got all sorts of stuff. They got an ISO one, a Arabic, and why don't we do that one? And I'm just, current setting line endings. So line endings are, see that? Maybe we want that. That's maybe not a bad idea for us rookies. The encoding you choose is unable to represent some of the characters in your document, so it could not be saved. Please choose another coding. See where we're getting all these problems all the time. And it's probably because of that bloody pirate. So, and it is, I think. And maybe we could get that pirate in because they got theirs in. So let's just take it out for now. Okay. And see, I can't take it out there because it's from over here. Right. And if you notice, he's maybe not so happy with that. And now I've got just that one. You know what I mean? No pirate there. So a little bit disappointing on that. So we're going to go back and not get disappointed. We're going to go like cross apps. Maybe they take that one better, and don't worry about, we can change this later. So there we go. Nice pirate, fool them. So again, one change there. We're on this operation was canceled. So here, what we're going to do is we're just going to close it again and save it. And he's going, okay, some Unicode characters in the file could not be saved. Do you want to save? Say yes. And I'm just saving it and I don't care anymore. And if we look at this file here, let's just, again, right click, undo changes, stage, view history, compare, unmodify, blame somebody. So you can blame me later if you don't like this. And maybe I just click on it again. And it looks good to me. I get something in there. And I like it so much that he's got a green there now, right? But he's saying, oh, I couldn't do the save. So you see, play with it a little bit. Get a feel for what works and what doesn't work. I'm sure I'm going to get cut off any second here. It'll be the end of this session. So what we're going to do is we're quickly going to just press, and he's doing that sync, pushing the current branch. And hopefully this is going to go, to 0. Successfully synchronized. These files have different encodings. Still has a problem with it, right? So you can see that pirate thing didn't work there, right? So probably the best is just undo it because it's only one little change at this point, and we know we still need to call this something. So we're going to call it the 80K dash, right? That's what we're doing. And you can see it's not working out for me because I'm in this mode here looking at these changes. So just kill that stuff. And again, you can just pin this kind of and it pushes it over to the side. You see, it's a little bit different way of doing it, but it's a nice way. So let's go back to the README file, okay? And you can see things that look all cluttered up because he was looking at that history there, and there's the publish thing that we had before. We want to record some of that, right? We had the API key go in, and there's the history again. So we're just going to close that one up. And there's my favorite stuff where we started. So I'm hoping this is helping you guys. There's no changes down here now. We got rid of that. We backed them off. We were looking at this difference here and it wasn't, and we can't change it from here. So we closed it. And we're going to go back to the Solution Explorer. Here we double click on it and it brings it up again. And then we get that emoji in here. Let's get them all in here. And, we're just going to put them down here. And you know what happens? None of them work. So maybe we play a little game. If somebody could figure out what that is and figure out how to do it and get the emojis in, then we're good to go. So this is going to be called, like we said, the 80K dash, okay, Azure, and we've got our abbreviation for that, A2Z, okay, dash, and this is the AZ naming tool, but we're just going to go naming and then tool, but we know it's all about that. So this is going to be just a small tool. And like I say, a dash V1. Now you could go V10.0 at this stage. That looks pretty damn good there. Don't worry about it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's created a change here. We're just going to close that off. That's often how I do it, and then do the save. So I'm really completing it. Then we go to those Git changes again, and you see it there. So that's my friend Pascal giving us lots of notifications every day. He's some sort of Twitter nut. There's a lot of them out there. So, like I said, find some good mentors. They're not on Twitter. I can guarantee you that. So he's synced it all up supposedly, but it doesn't seem to me what's going on. He says it's successfully synced. You know, he's getting these things and getting confused. I'm going to close that down and close that down. We could run this locally also. We did that on the other tutorial, and I'm kind of hoping things are kind of still recording here. And this is the local version, right? And then this version is the same thing. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out, okay, here, and then I'm going to log in, and I'm going to give this version login failed, right? So I'm going to log in here first, because both of them have the same password. So I'm going to do a secret password here, and I'm going to change the password. If you see, I'm logged in now, and I'm logged into this guy here. So you guys can think you can guess the password. You're going to win a prize. Okay. So I've got my normal password, and then I'm going to put in a little password here. And if you can figure out what it is, that's great, but it has to be at least 8 characters long. So that's kind of not going to work, right? It must contain a number and contain an uppercase. And I don't like uppercase, right, guys? So I'm going to do something special tonight that I've never done before, and hopefully I remember this. And again, it's not saving this for me because I guess I don't have a number in there. So this is always stick with your normal password and then add a special character at the end of it. And as far as I'm concerned, that should work. And it does work. So don't worry about it. So I know what that is there, and it's for that one. And he says, we'll change it. And I say, okay. It's been changed globally. It's been updated. So now we have 2 separate passwords. We're going to log out. And this is very important, guys, because it's obviously saving something for the admin. That's the name and the password. I'll be able to see that if I press there. And I'm going to update it. And you can see I'm logged out, so I'm going to test that password to make sure I've got it memorized correctly. And what I have is I've got my standard password, and then I got kind of my standard extended, so it sort of works for me. And there we are, right? So that's the live version, has the extended one, and then I've got my standard sort of dummy one memorized. So I've got 2 sort of internal passwords in my brain, if you like, that I use all the time. So I don't have them in any key pass anywhere, and I know exactly what they are, and I don't ever have to worry. And if it's not working, then I just reset the stuff. So this is fantastic. I hope this worked out and was a good recording and you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, try to get back to me in the sessions. We are, just to recap to where we are right now, somewhere down here, I think. And if you come up here and do the view and then you go to the immersive reader or whatever, immersive reader, let's do the
Cloud
play
Adopt
now.
Frameworks.
Now we're starting to read it.
Take degree 4.
So just forget that. Voice settings you could change to a male if you like, or you could do it faster to read through this stuff. So that's not bad. We should actually upload this too, right, into the GitHub. And this is going to be a great session. I'm sure we're going to get cut off. So how would we do that? So maybe we go back here. No, that's not doing it. That's kind of cool. And I'm going to go back here, and I'm here, right? And on the OneDrive, let's just go there. And he says, leave, save, cancel. Why does he do that to me all the time? So let's just go down here. And you'd say, well, this is not really where you want to be. He's got a OneDrive personal. And like, I can never find this stuff at all. It drives me absolutely, bonkers. I have these folders I try to do stuff in, and I just don't get it. So I'm thinking, why don't I see him in the OneDrive? And, where is my stuff? So what you can do is you can make folders up and things like that, where you want to store stuff. And I would like to use this folder, but for some reason it doesn't seem to tie in correctly. And you'll say like, well, don't worry about it because this is the local kind of drive. Some of this stuff has a different statuses, he's got a cloud status there. And I just want to show you guys, and I have the same problems you guys are having. So don't like, well, if I got 20 years of this, I'll be better at it. No, that's what's the beauty of this. You can quickly get yourselves onboarded, following my videos, and then, follow along because I'm always going to try to include some tips and tricks. So let's go back to tips and tricks here. And what I want to do is I actually want to go to my OneDrive, right? So I go to this guy here, and because I'm using the browser, and I could go to OneNote, for example, right? So let's just do that. And you see, he brings me to the OneNote, though. That's not where I want to be. And then I'm pressing that again, and it keeps going the same way. So then you could go to OneDrive. That's where you want to be now. All right. So, like I said, I'm just figuring this out. That seemed to work for me. And now he's giving me this one, right? Forgot your password. Sign in with a different Microsoft account. And that's the guy we want. He's the man. That's my personal one. So I got a couple of these. So I could go here to the documente, and there's that guy. Okay. And that's the guy we want to upload. But the problem with that is maybe it's not going to work so well in Visual Code, right? Or Visual Studio. So let's just maybe can we make that like that? Okay, maybe we can do one of those things that we just put that over there and maybe down. Okay, down for now, down and out. And then over here, let's try to get him in there, right? And how are we going to get him in there? Okay, so we're doing a couple of these exercises twice just so you can see different ways of doing things. In the properties is probably where we're going to put it, and this is published profiles. That's not the one we made. And I was looking for my folders and where they are and where they end up. And you can see maybe something didn't work out the way it was supposed to. And I thought it was in here and this published profiles, and maybe you just got rid of it all. And maybe my stuff just didn't work, right? Or maybe I'm in the wrong folders, right? So, maybe I should have been in a shared area or something, or in a settings folder, and maybe in the blank text, maybe not. Don't muck with this stuff, guys. You're going to have a lot of it here. And like I said, you've got to go through it all and figure out what's what. There's that README. Remember, we did our README here, and I thought we made changes and got this little check here. Why does it have that little check? Well, because in the README file, if you look here, we added that stuff, right? And now I've got this other note that I want to put in there, right? So the thing is, I don't know how to do it, I'll be honest. I don't know how to do it. But what I do know what I could do is I could put in something like that. Let's just pull it up a bit here. And I'm going to grab a link here. Okay. And it's going to be my personal link, but maybe I can share this to you guys. And you say open in one, open in the app and share. And that kind of looks like a good idea. We could share it to the group, and I'm going to need to figure that out. Maybe I can share that some other way and in through my GitHub and create a link here, right? And quite often you're going to find that that's not a bad idea. And send an email to yourself, for example. But there's another trick here, and I'm going to show it to you, and I'm probably out of time. It's probably, I never know if this is working, is what you want to do. And see, it's not doing it properly because you see that? What you want to do is copy two details. And what I was kind of hoping is that I would have the quick link in here, copy the quick link, and I don't see that. So maybe it's this one, share this item with other people. And again, you see anyone with this link. So you copy that link, and there it is. Okay, that's how you get there. And then I just copied it, and now let's look here, and I still don't see that link in there. I used to have it there, and there's a share, and you see there it is now with my name on it, and there's just the link. So if you needed it, and then it's got groups and links. So I've got it there for some reason. It's nice. There's obviously some more options that you could give it a name or something, I guess, and anyone with it, and you could delete it. And This is just fantastic. We're in the cloud, so we could really work as a team. I'll copy that. It's copied again, and you can see I'm rolling off the page, so maximize the page.